Well, good morning, YouTube. Hope everybody is well. First, I'd like to say, as I usually do, to all my subscribers and my new subscribers, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for taking an interest in me and my observations. Then I'd like to give a shout out to some content creators who I have enjoyed their content. I'd like to shout out Maturish. Yeah, Miss Maturish, you did that thing. Your commentary was excellent. I enjoyed it so much. I listened to it about 5 times because it was right on point. Right on point. Thank you so much for your commentary. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And to King Jives, I appreciate you very much. Yeah. Food Junkie for hitting the nail on the head earlier today. Appreciate you. James Caldwell, Uncle James, love you, man. Thank you. Now, there is a word that I would like to use to describe some of the situations that I have observed on these YouTube streets. Now, wow. And the word is silly. Now, the Bible speaks of silly, and it speaks of silly women. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And it derives from, a Hebrew word. It comes from the Hebrew language, which means weak in intelligence, foolish, witless, destitute of ordinary strength of mind, simple, as a silly man or a silly child. Now, it is, again, your thought pattern and thought processes that shows or emanates from within you that causes you to behave in a certain manner. And quite a few of you women, content creators here on YouTube, are silly women. You are weak in intelligence, foolish, witless, destitute of ordinary strength of mind, simple. Simple. You hide behind strong black woman. However, it's difficult to be a strong black woman and be silly at the same time. Now, I'm looking at and observing how you ladies tend to attack men and gay men. However, the same energy you don't have when a woman comes for you. And that's a fact. A lot of you start stuff and you forget what you say and what you do, and then you want to act like the damsel in distress. Somebody's coming and attacking you. I will say again, that is very unfortunate. You don't stand in your mess. You also use, I'm a grown-ass woman. And I don't see that. I don't see any maturity in your behavior. Um, I just, maybe it's me, but I don't see it. Um, you throw the rock and try to hide your hand with all the evidence that you have thrown the rock. I mean, you've got the dirt on your hand from where you picked the rock up, and everybody sees it, but you deny that you threw the rock first. And I don't know what this thing is where you feel it's okay to attack someone and someone is not supposed to come back on you. Now, in the case of Nicole Tyler, we've all observed what you have been doing and how you have been going about trying to get your numbers up, because we know that that's what it is. We know that the bottom line is trying to get your numbers up. We've watched you. We've heard you. Yes, you have taken down videos. However, there are remnants. In other words, there are people that have screenshotted and have saved copies of your videos and copies of certain parts of your videos that you've conveniently have forgotten. Now, I did like the point that Maturish made, that maybe it's early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, hanging out with Uncle Al. Now, here's something that you don't realize. Because you invite someone out in these YouTube streets, it doesn't mean that they're going to come out when you want them to. It's very funny. And you use the phrase, come out and come down off the porch and fight me like a man. What woman says that that's a strong black woman? And believe me, I've lived around strong black women most of my life. I have worked with strong black women that were tough. They were tough. At the time, it was regulation that they had to wear skirts. And I remember one partner that I worked with, when she knew she was about to get into it, she would take a pin and pin her skirt up to her waist and go in and, actually box men twice her size. Memories. Not memories, but they call them war stories. And it's funny, and we would get to fighting. It would be approximately anywhere from 33 to 66 men against the two of us. But that's enough of that. However, Miss Tyler, you're not strong like that. You're not built like that. You're not built like that. Again, we're classifying you in the classification of silly women. Witless, destitute of strong mental faculties. Someone said that you were doing this for attention. No, you're not doing this for attention. I don't say you're doing this for attention. You're doing this because you basically feel worthless. So you want to pick on someone. And again, that's bully behavior. That's bully behavior. And then you try to switch it and try to convince people that here I am, this black woman that this man is coming after, when you have said countless times in countless videos, come for me. But a man with class is not going to lower himself to come down there where you are. Because it doesn't make sense. there's nothing in it for him. And you and I both know, my dear, that if that man came off his porch and came for you, you would be annihilated. You would be so embarrassed that you would completely get off of YouTube. You know that, and I know that. Because one thing you don't do, you don't come for a gay man and think that you can battle. Because you can't battle. Especially a man like James Colwell. That's a man that has lived and experienced a life that you are not privy to and you would not be able to handle. He's got stuff in his arsenal, my dear, that you cannot dream of. You have no idea. No idea. And it's unfortunate that you feel that tough. You know, you want to be that tough. You know, that also reminds me, and this is no slight to the LGBTQI community, but it reminds me, and I say this because I had an aunt, my late aunt was a lesbian. Well, we dressed up the name now. We call them lesbian. But back in the day, they were called bulldaggers. Bulldaggers, dykes, and lesbians. And they were classified that because the lesbians could pass. The dykes were a little more masculine, less feminine. But the bulldaggers were those kind of women that like to prove their manhood against men. And that's the kind of behavior that you are showing us. You're showing us the behavior of a bulldagger. That for some reason you feel equal with a man and that you have to go after a man, a gay man. But remember, this is still a man, my dear. This is still a man. And a man that will slice and dice you with his tongue like you have never imagined. Girl, do yourself a favor and bow out gracefully. Because you're out here in these streets. For everybody that looks at YouTube, looking like a complete idiot. A complete idiot. And you're making it a man and woman thing and a gay man against a woman. But he wasn't against you. You were against him from the very outset, from the very beginning. You were against him. And I don't know what this thing is on YouTube or this air on YouTube, especially in this sector, that the women want to come for the gay men. What is it that you all are hiding and trying to down low let people know? Are you the ones that were always picked on, always bullied or what have you, and now you feel that you want to flex and come for what you feel are weak men? And at the same time that you're doing all of this, maybe I missed it, but I've never heard you once talk about the two little girls recently that were killed by their mother's boyfriends. Never heard you say anything about that. Never heard you, from a woman's point of view, speak about how horrendous that was. You say you're not homophobic, but not once did you say anything about Malaysia, the transgender woman that was killed. That was you. your humanity has escaped you, if you ever had any at all. Or is it just that you care for your own and everybody else can go to hell in a handbasket? Now, beloved, what you do to others, you do to yourself. Believe it. That's why your numbers are falling, my dear. Because you're doing it to yourself. You're not embarrassing anybody. You came for Jay Wilson. I'm trying to understand that. But I guess that's what you do. Desperate. That's also one of the characteristics of being a silly woman. You're so silly, you become desperate, pulling at straws to try to survive when all you have to do is do the work. And this Heidi Fly person is utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. I don't get it whatsoever. Oh, yes, I do. I get it. I get it. No character. No character whatsoever. Now, every individual is a reflection of their family and the village that helped raise them. Is this the kind of experience you had growing up? There are definitely mental issues that really should be addressed, that need to be addressed. Again, I spoke in another video about being enslaved in your mind, having the slave mentality, and you all are exhibiting the slave mentality, being slaves in your mind, because you're pitting yourself against your own, pitting yourself against people that may have resources and information that you could benefit from. But you cut off your nose to spite your face during a rainstorm and you drowned. Because that's what you're doing. Y'all are drowning yourselves. Unbelievable. Unbelievable and unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Howsoever, as my grandmother used to say, you make your bed hard, you gotta lay in it. Now, you have been warned several times. And I remember growing up, they used to tell us, hard head makes a soft behind. Not literally, figuratively. And I think I don't have to explain what that means. Well, then again, it means that if you're going to be so headstrong in what you are doing and not thinking things through, because obviously you don't think things through, each time you're going to wind up on your behind. Every time. You're going to get your butt kicked. And not so much by somebody else, but you're going to get your behind kicked by your own actions. It's going to come back and kick you right in the behind and make that behind soft. No bone. No bone whatsoever. Just unfortunate. I'm just amazed at this behavior. In 2019, I am amazed at how so many of, especially the women, and yes, the men have their issues too, but how the women have ceased to evolve. They have, you know, your behavior is that of a child that has never reconciled your issues as that little girl. And every time you are faced with either a challenge or being challenged, you revert back to the little girl. And that little girl is who reacts, not the adult, but the child. The child completely takes over, and you're left looking real stupid. Left looking extremely stupid. And again, I'm going to say this again. We in this sector of YouTube, we are not the only ones watching these videos, beloved. We're not the only ones watching it. There are statistics going on, behavioral statistics in the analytics of this YouTube sector that are going on. And every day planning for changes are going forth. Well, if this is going in one ear and out the other, that's okay too. But if it's going in one ear, something is going to stick. And maybe one day soon you'll apologize and take responsibility and really mean it. And not be or try to be an actress and act like you're apologizing so that you can do the same thing over again. Or better yet, let's use the word repent, because repent means to turn. You acknowledge that the way you're living or the way that you're behaving is inappropriate. You see it, you identify it, you repent, and you turn completely away from that behavior. Now, I said this before, I'll say it again. There's a common thread that seems to be running through everybody that has something to do or had some involvement in TSCC. And that is, you've come out of TSCC, but you still have TSCC in you. That needs to be reconciled. That needs to be addressed. And until that is addressed and reconciled, you're going to keep repeating the same cycle. And you know what they say about repeating the same cycle looking for different results? It means you're stupid. Point blank. It means you're stupid. No sugarcoating. It means you are stupid. Always doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and expecting a different result. Well, baby, you are chronologically becoming too old to keep repeating the same thing. You're getting too old. Too old to keep repeating the same craziness. But then again, that's just my observation. Take it or leave it. Just unfortunate. Just so unfortunate. Ooh, did I do my face like that? It's disgusting. It is really disgusting. And it just amazes me how you expect people to respect you outside of YouTube and other people on YouTube to respect you when this is who you are. This is entertainment. No, this is not entertainment. This is destruction of a race of people. It's destruction. Mostly self-destruction. Mostly self-destruction. I said it in the past video. And I'd like to shout out to Iyanla Vanzant, because she always talks about doing the work. She wrote a book called One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And it's a 40-day process. I would like to suggest, get the book, do the process, and let's see how your thought pattern and how you feel about yourself will change. Oh well. Let's see. I've been on here. I've been on here almost 30 minutes. But beloved, you gotta do something. Girl, y'all should be tired of this because it is redundant. It is redundant. And you know, shout out to T.S. Madison, because T.S. Madison said something a long time ago. She said, watch those people and be careful of those people that can't keep any friends. Be careful of them. Those people, which also encompasses those people that can't make friends, that can't make alliances, that can't make a harmonious working environment and situation. Got to be careful of those people, because those people are destructive. They are destructive, mostly to themselves, because most people, you notice after all of this stuff that you do, they recover quite well and move on. But you remain stuck in the same place. And you find somebody else to do the same behavior again. When will you learn? When will it sink in? There's so much more going on. So much more you could use your platform for than going after people. There's so many changes in our society and in our world that could be made by this tool called YouTube. So much can be done. So much for our people and so much for the world. But so many of us are using it as a weapon and as a tool of destruction. Why? Are you that small? Are you that jaded Is your self-esteem and self-worth that low that you don't realize the potential power that you have in being a content creator to change the world? Well, then maybe that wasn't your reason for coming on YouTube. Okay, I get that. You're about a coin, a click and a view. Okay, I get it. However, what does it profit you to gain a click and a view and a coin, and you're losing your very soul, the essence of you, the place where God has put himself in, the place where God has put talents and gifts to reach people, to help people, to encourage people, to pull people out of the pit of despair. Well, again, I'm not disappointed because I do not have unreal expectations of you. I said before, Miss Tyler, I was a subscriber back in 2018. But I saw the behaviors, and it's not just you, it's several content creators. However, we're talking about you now. I saw your behavior beginning to change, and you begin to do some crazy stuff. You know, stuff that was coming out of your mouth was like, why, what, who, why, what? I was confused. And I saw the hatefulness that was in you. And then a lot of you are that do that stuff in a real situation outside of behind the computer and the camera. Y'all are stone cold punks. Y'all don't even stand up for yourselves. Y'all be the ones on World Star getting stomped out. It's amazing. However, I digress. When I saw that, I had to unsubscribe from you. Then, when you left the cult, I was giving you, the benefit of the doubt. Started looking different. Like, okay, she's looking a whole lot better than what she was looking. And you even sounded a little better. But I will say this, that old adage that says you can take a person out of the ghetto, however, it's a whole nother story to get the ghetto out of the person. Not calling you ghetto, but I'm using it as an analogy. And here's where it differs. You can take the individual out of the cult, but it's a different story getting the cult out of the people. Now, anytime that someone is rescued from a cult, what they do is they go through therapy, a debriefing. They have to combat all those things that they learned being brainwashed. Because if they don't, the behaviors will remain as if they were in the cult, because their brain has been programmed to operate in cult programming. Girl, you need to read some books. You need to fill your mind with alternative thinking patterns or right thinking patterns and get that stuff out of you so you can be productive. But anyway, been on here 30 something minutes. That's a little bit long for this video. Habi so never, as my grandmother would say. It is what it is. It is what it is. I would say on one hand that I hope you get it together, but on the other hand, it may sound cold, but I'm not into you like that. I'm not into you like that. Because you've done it too often. So now it's like the boy that cried wolf. You know, you keep crying, I've changed, I've changed, I've changed. However, you still behave the same. But anyway, I've been on here long enough. So I'm going to give this a little break. I hope. And, well, if you get it together, you do. If you don't, you don't. However, remember, what you do comes back to you. However, it comes back to you in more abundance than what you put it out. And you have to be very careful because it's a hard pill to swallow when people that you care about, when you see them going through things that you've caused and you can't do anything about it. And on that note, I'm going to say good morning to everybody. And again, to all my subscribers, my new subscribers, I appreciate you to the moon and back, to heaven and back. I appreciate the comments, both good and bad, because they keep me motivated. I appreciate you. Again, I appreciate Maturish. Thank you so much for your commentary. Again, your commentary was awesome. Food Junkie, James Caldwell, Spill It Boy TV. I appreciate you, James Caldwell, for the way that you have handled the situation, being who you are, knowing what you know, how your integrity is still intact. I appreciate your example. I said it to someone the other day. Just like T.S. Madison, James Caldwell is an icon on these YouTube streets. He's an example of sharing, caring, giving, and then receiving the love for what he gives. Thank you, James Caldwell. And another note, Todrick Hall. Todrick Hall, you are awesome. From the moment I was introduced to you, I've watched you grow. I've watched you perfect your craft. You are gifted, not just talented. You are gifted, young man, and you got it going on. I appreciate you. And supporting you is not a chore, it is a pleasure. Thank you so much. And to all the content creators, Jay Wilson, Tracy Living My Truth, D. Ramsey, Deanna Irving, who else? Nepturian, Looking from Afar. I don't really want to forget anybody. You all have really been priceless to me. I appreciate you all for your contributions. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so, so, so much. There was somebody else I wanted to remember. I hate when that happens. Boy. But at any rate, thank you all, especially to those who I haven't mentioned. Your contribution and your pouring into me has not gone unnoticed. I appreciate you all, and I'm going to say to you all, much love. When you love yourself, it is so much easier to love other people. And should those people not be in a place to accept your love, it does not hurt the fact that you are able to love regardless. Much love.